work right now and not watching the LCK.
Hey, unless you're watching LCK at work. Sound off in the chat.
From home.
Yeah, or you're working from home. Anything at all. If you're watching from work, let us know. Let us know that you're being productive and also sharing a little bit of attention with the LCK. That's what we love to see here. As it is going to be a blue side Kalista ban, not wanting to risk it against a player that's pretty good at the Caitlyn. In fact, T1 kind of awash with Caitlyn aficionados. As the Oner also going to be taken away here. So Victor. So we are skipping a few of the OPs, as only Kalista really from that list has been taken away so far. The Vi, almost always a red side second place ban. T1 don't often like sticking to the script though, so might be thinking about some other spice.
So Vi, Xin Zhao, I was going to say Rumble, but Rumble also taken off the board. The next in line would be things like Mbessa, but people have been pretty happy to just play into Mbessa.
Yeah.
Even though the pick is still very clearly top tier, does have some counters that seem to do well into it. As yeah, Faker, you know, the one at the top of the reboot I think was necessary. After that, I don't think you need to update. Like, clearly everything was up to date in that last game.
It was feeling pretty good.
For what feels like the first time in at least the LCK, I think LCK Cup was a different story, but LCK thus far has been a slow start for the GOAT, as Mbessa does get taken away here. Xin Zhao seems like a no-brainer here. Sejuani is another. So kind of going to signify what Gideon would rather do. And I like this. I think Oner Sejuani is still crazy. But T1 are the team that uses Xin Zhao the best out of, I think, possibly any team that we have, because the all-in potential, the ability to re-engage fights and split them up when it's brawly, when it's skirmishy, when you have these long, drawn-out back and forths, Oner just plays it incredibly well. So I think this is a good call-out. That it's probably going to be the Sejuani is a definite lock-in. And then we are getting towards the, you know, slightly less broken top laners. There's still a lot, and we'll see what Doran is going to be looking towards.
It is, for me, Camille and Jax that are kind of on my mind at the moment, as both of them synergize exceptionally well with the Sejuani if they want to play around that top side. Of course, if they're playing in a top 2v2, generally the Xin Zhao is very strong. And Doran now wanting to have a little bit of safety up there as the Gnar is going to be picked. A very comfortable blind, but doesn't really, you know, reek of excitement and happiness.
It doesn't spark joy.
No, not a lot of joy sparking.
It's fine. What this does do is give the possibility, if Nongshim do pick a mid laner, to get counterpick for Faker. That is, Gnar is already picked.
Nah, Sejuani has some pretty good ults already being represented. And you could see Calyx counting there. He did 1, 2. He was like, that's 2 good ultimates. Let's do it. And he locks it away. I don't know whether that's what he was doing at all.
What it felt like.
It is what it looked like.
Also, now you still get Ashe Sejuani.
Hey, true.
Just with extra steps.
There you go. As Renata is going to be picked away potentially.
Blind, like and then they're going to, well, I was about to say, and then they're going to ban Nico, but it looks like they are not going to do so just yet. Ryze is going to get picked up instead here for Faker.
Oh my god, this is one of the, like, most classic combos of T1 from years past, and that is Ryze and Gnar picked together.
Yeah, it's also one of those things where you're like, one of Faker's most iconic. I'm like, I don't think that's true at this point anymore.
It has sort of run around a little.
There are a little bit too many of those. Azir is the big one, but that one is obviously taken off the board. The Nautilus, the Braum, taken away. That does signal to me that they are, in fact, not picking Renata on 4 and are going to just save counterpick for Keria. Probably pick up an AD carry for Smash here. This is looking very Kai'Sa.
Yeah.
I also think Nongshim know that.
It's looking Zyre too. So the Rakan is going to be banned. I actually think that's really smart.
The downside to Kai'Sa, obviously, is that the lane into Ashe can be quite tough. You have a lot of setup, so I think that both MF and Jhin make a lot of sense. Jhin does well on the follow-up, and Jhin is obviously also quite solid in lane. Then again, so is MF. So I feel like both of these do make a lot of sense. I think the one downside to MF is that actually getting a full ult off into both Ashe and Xin Zhao, I think, can be a little hard. Xin Zhao also is able to just function regardless of that. And then what Leona here, I think, makes a lot of sense given that the Braum has already been taken away. And it also cancels the ultimate from the MF really reliably.
Galio would be very Lahens if they were to lock that one in.
Is it going to be Kingan's GP?
Oh, God, yeah. Create the Thunderdome, make the circle.
Right?
Let it rip, baby.
MF ults and you just...
Say no?
You say no. Because there's no shot that the Galio is not going support, right? You're not picking Galio into...
Unless you are taking Sylas top. Yeah.
Oh, that could be the angle. Yeah, Sylas top. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. So it's Sylas top for Kingan here, which early on is rough. But yeah, post 6, obviously, you have...
And so many of our top laners have been practicing Sylas in solo queue recently. Like, this is not like a new thing. This is something that people have been waiting to bring out for quite some time. And it was an OG pick into the Gnar many moons ago as Keria diving towards his Nico of old. This is a champion that he's found a lot of success on in the past, but it was often in Kalista lanes. So he would often have a whole lot of extra pizzazz to play around post 6. And we'll see whether he's going to be just as deadly with MF at his side.
These setups, kind of crazy. Love Zinzao Galio. That one is a classic for a reason.
I am very worried about Pop Blossom being picked into Sylas.
Yeah, okay, so, well, Sylas already had like 50 worlds.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I'm with you, though. So, the Nico, to me, I think the idea is, obviously with the clone, you can catch cocoons. You also are playing into 2 short-range characters. Both Elise and Ashe kind of need to walk up, where Nico can really abuse the fact that she has a generally great time when she's not severely outranged, which isn't the case here. And then we also have the top lane matchup to look forward to. When it comes to the skirmish, though, like the 3v3 of Galio, Zinzao, Sylas, that's a little disgusting. Atlas, that's a lot of gameplay power that is there. The side lane impact from Ryze is also matched. Ryze does obviously outskill the Galio, so a lot of intricacies, a lot of interesting decisions being made as we go into the game number 2.
Yeah, and a different story when it comes to range and things like that. I feel like both teams are pretty similar. Maybe Nongshim with a slight advantage there, but it's not going to be the same situation as what we saw in game 1. I still think Nongshim looking absolutely fine, but they looked fine in game number 1 as well. We'll see whether T1 can close this one out or whether Nongshim are bringing us to 3. Double Poros, what does it mean? Both teams making their way out onto the rift. It is blue side for Nongshim this time. As T1 setting up the defense. And Gio moving down with Lehens as they do clear out this ward. And they are just going to park themselves down here. So no one getting too much deep vision or any level 1 shenanigans or anything like that, as OMG, couple of Poros walking past one another, and Calyx going to get some vision down. Oner seeing it immediately. Grats on the extra gold.
Nicely implemented OMG there. Very subtle.
Mm-hmm. All right.
2 Sejuanis. It is kind of crazy.
It is. And now there's 2 Fakers. Now there's 2 Smashes. Don't you think it's kind of cool that, you know, Smash is playing for T1 and one of T1's most famous AD carries is called Bang. We've got onomatopoeias as, you know, T1 AD carries. It's kind of dope.
Yeah, it is dope. I have nothing to add.
Yeah.
Good thought.
Thank you. I've had good thoughts before, and I'm glad that there's proof now that I had a good one. Thanks to you for recognizing it. Awkward conversations aside, let's have a look at how this bottom lane is going to go, as Lehens is going to be throwing down some Qs, trying to get some damage down. As you can see, Smash getting electrocuted here by the Elise. The Spiderlings being frustrating. There's good volley, but T1 are giving back as much as they're getting here, as Kingan moving up towards Doran, just missing the chains there as we can see, but able to Kingslayer over the level 2 spike. Looking good for the Sylas as the boomerang does go wide.
Imagine how to trade. I was about to say, if he hits the chain.
Yeah, and he does. That's the solo! And the flash down for Doran. Okay, Kingan.
Yeah, Doran did escape a lot of what I'm sure would have been some rough criticism had this team not won the last game.
Yeah.
This, to me, is more egregious because in the last game he was focused heavily, right? There was at least a lot of reasons for why he was in the position that he was in. The map was being split kind of against him. We saw Oner, you know, mostly paying his attention towards the bot lane as...
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
It's
no flash.
It's gone from bad to worse, ladies and gentlemen, as Doran's level 3, and he's just dead. Gideon, was that like a level up? Oh, no, he got the trial proc. Oh, God, okay. Yep. Yeah, that couldn't be going worse. He didn't blow the teleport, there's that. He just walked it back. So there's the silver lining. I was looking for it. It was hard to find, but I got there in the end.
Hooray for small miracles, Atlas.
Yep. Calyx also having a rough time, as Faker got the counter pick and looks pretty good as well. And up towards the top lane again, the 2-0 Silas with a couple of items compared to an empty green bottle.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Calyx that picked us into the Rise, right? Because they picked us.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're true. Yeah, you're right.
Which makes this also a little bit rough for Calyx. Now, I do think that you picked the Galio not because of the early matchup. It's mainly so that you can match the impact in side lane. And I do think post first back you should be in a position that's a lot better as...
Well, oh man, he was just confused.
Did you say what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it sounded like to me. He's level 2.
Oh. Doesn't even flash, Gideon, by the way.
Yeah, just walked it off and then had a giggle. So things looking pretty good for Nongshim towards the top side of the map. 500 gold, the lead as a result. And Doran hitting Mega now, but it's really feeling like things are real rough here on the top side of the map. King diving in once again.
They're not getting better, Atlas, because the biggest advantage you have in this matchup, I'd argue, is the first 6 levels.
Yep.
Before Silas has his ult, because you're actually able to...
Yeah, you can ult Na when Na can't ult.
Yes, and again, oh my god, this wave state. Oh, this is so bad.
So
and Oner is at least on the top half of the map, so we'll see if he can fix the wave. But so it's also because with Silas, once you get enough ability haste, like the chain is basically just not on cooldown.
Oh god, if he lands another chain, and it could be all over, as Oner is coming on up, and Kingen not overextending. Oh, unless he is. Yeah, he is. He's just going to get executed. Oner comes in and takes that one as a freebie. Maybe a bit of an overextension there from good old Kingen.
Doran is just repeating the game plan of Chiyu last game.
The ultra bait strategy?
The ultra bait where you're like, okay, he's already died twice. He's just not playing well today. Q, Oner arriving. Jokes aside, Oner does actually save the lane there, because that lane was frozen by Kingen in an abhorrent state. And Oner really nicely done here as well. Look at the positioning there. Actually setting up in a way where he's not visible at all. And is also in range to go for the Q flash. Nicely done. Means that, again, Kingen's still ahead. I still think this matchup is looking roughest. Woo!
Flash traded here in the mid lane as Calyx tidies up the minion wave. Gets some priority there as well as Gideon takes the first grub out of the first set. Q not going to get doubled up on here in this top lane as we do have the swap occurring. And Gideon should be able to lock down the remaining grub here. So that is first feat of strength of the warfare variety. Is Gideon now going to take himself crab. And we've got a fake misfortune waiting in the brush. Slahen's going to see that one come on through. T1 with the information. Still going to get tagged by the volley. Slahen's comes up towards the top side of the map. And the gold entirely even. It does feel like the map is being controlled by Nongshim. And this is also a very sneaky Gideon moving into the enemy jungle. Lahen's going to join him there as well as Oner and Keria looking to rotate around. A possible sandwich angle here is on the level 5 for Gio as well.
Alex has his ult. They should know it. They should know at this point, though. But maybe not. We'll see. I don't think they're ready.
Yeah, Oner gonna get spotted here, but does spot out the rest of Nongshim as well as Lahen's doesn't need to move up, has his spiders taken down. As another taunt coming on through. Remember, these mid laners do not have flashes available. As Faker plays the do-si-do with Calyx. Winds of War going to go wide.
Whew. Yeah, with Merc Treads, Calyx doing way better.
Yep.
The 1v1, and we saw as well both of them shadowing towards the top half of the map, because Faker also clearly knew that something wasn't quite
flash.
Okay. Keria, I assume not having his clone available, not able to get rid of that. And again, that's the counter pick.
Yeah, nicely played here by Jiu so far, who is kind of licking his wounds from the last game. Cannon is going to be taken successfully here by Smash. T1 doing fine here as far as this duo lane is concerned, but I might be saying that a little bit too
flash.
soon. And
hello.
Yeah, Jiu is going to get spotted. And wanders on out.
They know.
But remember, yeah, Lahens is there, does manage to get the cleanse this time around as the repel going to avoid the snare coming on through from Keria as Doran with the Gnar just flashes on top of Kingin. Can he get the ult off? The answer is yes, as Doran's tanking it up and will go down. A 1-for-1 under the bottom outer turret.
You'll take that if you are Kingin, Doran. The flash invested, meaning that it's a trade up. Also, I am just wondering if you know that the Elise is there, which it seems like they clearly did.
Yep.
We shouldn't be walking up and having our cleanse burned for no reason.
He was very committed to standing in that brush, we have to admit.
It is
Let's have a look at this one once again. I think this is just Kingin being 2-0 and being too, like, beefy to take down. Has he even got the Kingslayer off? You can see there,
Doran
before.
I think he could have just walked it off. I don't think he had to stay there because Kingin obviously was going to try and look for the Gnar. You saw him pick the ult at the beginning of that play. Doran's struggles continue. Even with that kill, the 1-for-1 trade, not what you're looking for when you pay that much attention towards the play.
Once again, a dragon that has gone pretty much ignored.
It's rude.
One ward on it,
frankly.
Especially after we've been talking up the fact that dragons have been very, very strong. We saw that in the stats, in the pre-show.
And stats never lie, Atlas.
Not ever. That's all right. Smash and Keria up against just a lonely Jiu right now, because Lahens is having a bit of a journey. He will be moving towards the top side eventually, as the next round of grubs in 30 seconds time could be our next point of contention. Gideon and Lahens looking to gang up on Faker here in the mid lane, whose flash is still not off cooldown. There's the taunt. That is going to mean a free cocoon. Gideon should be able to come on over as never mind. Faker, that phase rush, able to run it off.
Yep, has Mercs as well, so the CC not quite that long. Big thing there was that Gideon's damage wasn't there.
Yeah.
If he's there, he definitely have enough to take down the Rise, but not going to be the case. Faker obviously sitting on a good amount of MR, but not a lot of armor yet. I'm sure eventually Rise, as we all know, will become a turret as King and...
I've seen this one before, as in the meantime we've got some grubs taken as well. Teleport back in from Faker, but it should be the first grub being taken at least. It's the rest of T1 wanting to fight for this. 3 versus 3, but it's a flanking Lahens. And Calyx is lying in wait as well, so 5 grubs going to be the answer. The arrow goes entirely wide, as there is a cocoon to interrupt the bullet time. Oner now getting a bit of a heal as the knockup comes through with the Pop Blossom. Still the heroic charge not going to be enough, and Keria will be the answering kill. Calyx grabs that one, and there's the Justice Punch onto Faker. Lahens looking for a little bit more, as they want to take the Realm Warp out, as the taunt doesn't work. And Faker gets everyone to safety. Apart from, unfortunately, Keria, who died earlier.
I'm not sure. I have to see the replay. Either Calyx's taunt was a split second too late, or Oner cancelled it with Q.
No, the taunt went off, but Faker wasn't in it.
Got you, okay.
It just taunted other people and not the Rise.
Man, that both ways could have gone very poorly. Very thin margins on that fight, kind of continuing what we've seen in the series thus far. As we take another look here, Lahens on the flank is spotted, but doesn't stop him. That arrow missing is crucial. If that goes on to Oner, I think the fight looks a lot less close. But Lahens getting the interrupt onto Smash and basically 1v1ing the MF, taking it out of the fight, is a really big deal. And then even though Gideon dies, Keria still ends up going down. So take another look here.
Oh, right on the edge of the taunt.
Yep.
My goodness.
If he gets tagged by that, they probably all die. And the game is looking very differently. Instead, it is still 6, like Nongshim still won that, right? 6 reps for them. They end up getting the dragon as a little extra gift as well, which gets them feats.
Yeah. And now a couple of plates going to be traded here, as at least Smash getting a little bit of an advantage. Jiu coming on up, but isn't able to actually get very many of these pesky minions. They're in a bit of an awkward spot. Lehen's going to turn up though, and they're looking to play aggressively. They will get the cleanse out of Smash immediately. Cocoon going to land there as well as Juice just walking at him. Frost shot going to connect. The volley's going to land as well, and there is nothing they could do about it. That's a huge knock from Kingen, who's just diving the turret. Ulti going to miss as Kingen will go down in the 1v1, but Oner now will find Gideon, and that's going to even it out for T1. They'll take a little bit more. Wind becomes lightning. There's a nice little heal there from Gideon as he's just fighting as best he can, but the damage is going to be there from Oner. Keria now pushed underneath his turret as Calyx and Faker, they need to do something exciting as well because there is crazy stuff happening all over the map.
And as so often is the case, Oner, the shining light that salvages what looked really rough there for a situation that looked rough for T1. The play onto Doran, it's definitely hard forced, right? Kingen is already low, so him taking aggro, it feels like a necessity because the fact that he needs to go in for the ult, but the timely arrival of Oner here ends up guaranteeing the 1v2. It's been in the right place in the right time. Still though, topside play was a win for Nongshim, right? So it's a 2-for-2 across the board by the end of it. And the woes for Smash and Keria kind of continue. I feel like the Nico counterpick thus far hasn't really made its mark, and Smash has had some cleanse mishaps and actually ends up going down there as well.
Yeah, and so now we've got a Cloud Drake coming up in 3 minutes' time. The Rift Herald should be the next thing on the cards. As 1.5 minutes for that one on the top side is Kingen versus Faker.
Alex, oh,
yeah, that Scry's orb was real nice.
Woo. Saw that one coming. Not going to be caught off guard, and T1's going to be happy, obviously. As
trying to predict a hop, but it doesn't actually happen there from Lehen's. Trying to get him into the head of his previous teammate.
Yeah, so Faker did pick this as a counterpick into Sylas. So if this is the lane assignment,
yeah, this is kind of optimal T1.
He's very happy. Yeah. And also Ryze at times has been a top laner, you know, so we know he can.
Keen would definitely argue that he's a top laner.
Yeah. Yeah, Keen also thinks Urgot is still relevant, which I want to be true. Let me be clear.
As a Blippo fan, so do I.
Yeah, it's fun. I love Urgot. I think he's such a fun champion when he works as
Keria not going to quite find it. Immediately has to flash the arrow that Jiu is going to throw at him. Good heads-up play there. Not going to just assume, as they do miss a cannon. So that's a -1 in the chat, please.
Even though Ashe and Varus are so similar, Jiu's performance is really a night and day situation. It's kind of crazy. He's actually been able to keep his summoners up or use them in a situation that didn't, you know, involve him making a big mistake. As Doran is in an awkward spot here.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. He's going to try and hop away, but that's a really nice cocoon. As Calyx kind of out of CC for now, and so Doran with the extra movement speed going to be able to get himself out of there. Does have his Trinity Force now done, as well as Merc Treads that look extraordinarily important. As in comes Keria, pretending to be Oner.
Well, the Herald is spawning though, so like he's still going to have to invest his TP to kind of salvage this situation. As
I would, if I was Kingen,
I actually like this from T1. Because they are, instead of trying to contest, which I think should be quite hard with Doran being as low as he is, they're just setting up as, it doesn't spot.
Yeah, all right. We'll see whether Kingen's going to be able to ward them off.
Tough.
He really wants someone to pick up turret aggro before he throws out the ulti, but there's Smash with an ulti of his own. He finds it.
Chains!
As Smash going to have to flash for it, and he does pick up the kill. I don't think he had to flash for it. Maybe that I said that wrong. However, he did flash for it, and it did result in a kill. Still, outer turret falls on the top side of the map. T1 going to be able to grab the outer on the bottom side. But if this inner turret goes down, Nongshim are going to win out on the play. Still, they're able to defend, and Gideon is able to take the Rift Herald as Lehen's taking a lot of damage. Teleport in from Faker is going to get him towards this top side. There goes the spider, squished like a bug. But still, it is the Galio being able to make it out relatively safe. I say safe, as they do get the taunt onto Faker here. Pop Blossom comes out from Keria, who was pretending to be Oner there as the arrow is going to connect. Now Faker's in trouble, and Gideon, with the ulti running, is seeing what he can get done here. There's Kingen to lock down the first one. Chains land onto Oner. Smash taken down as well. Kingen, an absolute monster on this Sylas. And Doran cannot catch up here as Keria going down exceptionally low, or at least looking like he did as he was transformed. Still, Calyx is going to fall, and Doran looking to try and get out. Wind just barely not becoming lightning there And Kingen, you can see, just desperately wanting to get another one, but isn't able.
This series has been so many of these skirmishes that just basically go, oh, who's winning?
Yeah, this is crazy.
I am still quite unsure, as initially this looks like a way too aggressive overforce here from Calyx and Gideon, but when you see the TP, it starts to make a little bit more sense. Crucially, a lot of damage goes into Faker, and he is quite beefy. So the beginning of this fight, I think, really looks quite rough, but the CC from Calyx in this whole sequence ends up being, I think, one of the big reasons why it's even close. Smash ends up going down. And the fact that Keria doesn't die is a big deal, as now we're not done fighting.
Yeah, Oner lying in wait. We've got a Rip Gerald coming down as well, as it is going to be Gideon controlling the controlling the dragon, sorry. Now they're going to have to possibly get themselves out of here. Let's see whether they can. It's Pop Blossom from Kingen going to come on through. Down goes Doran before he can do anything at all. And T1, I think it's probably just time to cut your losses and get out of there. Lehens is looking juicy, but I don't think T1 are going to be able to do too much more. Just controlling the mid lane as best they can. Cocoon going to land. Lehens, I don't know about this. Gideon also very, very low. As the hawk shot coming on through, and we've got some backs being channeled.
Nongshim are not afraid. I think sometimes they should be, but they're not.
Yeah.
Playing on a razor's edge there, very far forward, as both top laners are trying to outdo each other for who can die the most. Doran currently ahead. As we take a look, nice smite there by Gideon. And it's, I can't believe this works. Doran bone blading down, feels he's safe because he almost has Mega, and then he just dies just before he can hit it. Nice ult there as well from Kingen to make sure that the rest of his team can go in on Doran. Doran also forced a sidestep. And it's not clean, but I'm having a really good time.
Me too. I have no idea what the outcome of this game is going to be, but looking at the 1-1 for all three of the bottom side of the map players from Nongshim is cathartic. So that's what I'm focusing on here. As Lehens trying to find a carrier.
So I do think Nongshim are looking a lot more rough in the scaling department than they were in the previous game. I think previous game was very even. This time around, the bot lanes, I think are a bit more even, but when you look towards the top side of the map, you are not feeling super. Silas obviously feels great, but I do think Ken's struggling to the amount of CC that's available on T1. And then Xin Zhao, Galio, really pick them for, if this game ends up going for like 15 more minutes, which I thought the last game was going to, and then that one ended very abruptly. What I do think Nongshim can do is get Chemtech Soul, because that is disgusting on this team. Yeah,
I was going to say, like, Ox, you are off the hook this time around. There are a lot of, like, champions on both sides, in fact. Like, Doran maybe wouldn't have died in that last fight if he had a Chemtech Soul and would have been able to utilize it, right? Like, there's a lot of value that you can get. Mainly for Nongshim, as you were saying. Of course, Silas and the Xin Zhao absolutely love it. T1 looking to defend their outer in the mid lane. It's only one turret picked up on the bottom side of the map here for T1, and on the top side for Nongshim, as Keria seeing whether he can defend his control ward. Not going to quite be able to there, but they at least get rid of the enemies. And there's Duke just getting control here, doing that back and forth in the mid lane as Kingen coming on over. Still with a level advantage, but you can see the gold lead is gone for the Silas.
With Sand coming through for Doran, obviously going to be feeling great in both side lanes.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if Faker picks up something like a Banshees as well. And there's also the fact that there's a lot of beefy members on T1. The percentage health damage on Nongshim is Lehens' Q.
Yeah.
Which notoriously is not a good ability. Human Q is probably one of the worst abilities in the game.
Hey, but Spider Q also does percentage health
Spider
damage.
Q is great, but you do need to get them low.
Yeah.
Remember when Elise was a top laner because Human Q was
just
busted?
Broken? Yeah. And you'd just play her like Karma, just spam Q at the opponent.
Yep.
I do remember that. That was when it was just very obvious. She was overtuned to a ridiculous degree.
Oh, no, we'd never do that.
No. Making it rain here in the mid lane. Jiu just ignoring it. And Gideon is going to show up here. Only going to get spotted. Hawkshot going to have a lot of value this game as well as Keria, possible Pop Blossom angle. He is doing pretty well controlling both the clone and himself to make sure that he keeps Nongshim on their toes. Oh, high value dash cannon there.
This is both just being annoying.
Yeah.
Lance also knows that no one should be walking up. That is an actual threat as doesn't get the cancel just on the edge there. We do have Faker already sitting on 2 items. That's one of the small gold leads that we have. Calyx really wants to finish his next one. In terms of stacks though, Calyx is a little ahead as Runans now for GU. That 3rd item spike is gonna feel amazing when he hits it. Right now, MF, I think, feeling a lot more dangerous unless GU gets completely untouched in these fights. And he needs to do a good amount of damage output because the amount of MR on the enemy team is very substantial.
Yes. All right.
Roll on number 1.
We are just starting the Otacon.
I don't love this.
No, neither do I. It's a little bit scary.
Do this a good amount of times. Oh, he does get the cancel in the back. That is nice. Means Faker, but comeback, he's still at 2 items. So is it just gone?
Well, it's down to 4,000 health. They're focusing it, and yeah, I don't know whether Oner's going to be able to get it here. He does, and he steals it away. Highway robbery here from T1 is now Gideon. Kingen gets the flash in. They take down the Nico immediately. There's the knock-up onto Faker. He is completely taken out. And now Lehens, he will be taken by Doran, but Faker is still in trouble, and there is the taunt to finish him off. Doran goes down as Chiu gets his hands on this Gnar, and over the wall comes Calyx, or at least he tries to. Not going to be able to there, and they'll settle for a kill under the misfortune. Only Oner left standing. How many of these petals were they actually able to pick up, though? That's the big question, as there are a lot of them strewn all around the place, and the 3rd Drake going to be picked up here by Nongshim.
Again! A crazy sequence of events here as I thought Oner couldn't get in. He can.
That was
him again.
So sick.
Don't quite have the damage, but this play from Kingen sets up the fight. A 3-man ultimate.
And with the Otacon little wall there, I think it also stunned Oner.
He did. Yeah, that's hits the 3-man. Then GU actually lands giving his life. Very nicely done. Kingen stalls for a good amount of time. That flash from Smash ends up haunting him because otherwise he just gets out here, flashes over the wall and he's fine. Instead, GU attacks him with the slow, follows up, and that ends up being the difference maker. Nicely done there again by Calyx.
Yeah, Keria actually coming over here and stealing away a bunch of these petals.
They're basically even. Nongshim, I'm pretty sure, is also or was also at exactly 26.
All right. So not exactly end of the world as in comes Oner, and they are just going to kill Lehens. He does repel, gets onto a Mega Blast Cone, and never mind, they don't kill Lehens, they try to kill Lehens. And Lehens says no. As there's a taunt on to Keria here, who's dead. That's a colossal smash to the noggin, and instead of Lehens being dead, it's Keria who's dead. Oh, how the turntables.
This Nico pick is not quite working out, Atlas. As there you go, 32. Okay, for T1. And they did get Otacon, but they also have not gotten...
Yeah, they're not getting the dragon value that the Otacon
the grub value. There's no epic objectives. Now Oner can just steal Mash, and then they get...
right. Yeah, that's actually a really good game plan. Mind control them into taking the Baron. It's Lehens
working.
Possibly in trouble. Smash could be in the wrong spot now, though, as Faker is realm warped in. Gideon engages on top of him. The rest of T1 a little bit too far away, though. And down goes the jungler. Arrow also going to narrowly be hopped here by Doran. And Kingen is in the mid lane, just defending here at the same time. Yeah, there's no smite here anymore. Oner cannot smite when he's dead, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm discovering.
That was the game plan!
Oh god, Kingen also has a Gnar ultimate here. It's going to be really dangerous if T1 go for a counter engage, so the Baron is just gone. The bullet time is an attempt, but it's a failure. And the first Baron, once again, here in game number 2, is going to go over to Nongshim.
Last time Nongshim went for a fight that just went completely awry. They started the second Baron and it was a complete disaster. This time though, actually looking a lot more measured as they try to go in on Lehens, even with the Realm War, but Lehens is least. Actually locking him down is really hard. And Gio, when he's uncontested, can obviously just shred down Oner. But this all goes back to that attempted pick from Keria. Him not having the pop, or him not being there because he doesn't... he's not live, right? Not able to actually show up to the fight, not having the pop loss.
Oh, Oner thinks that he's found an angle, but instead it's Lehens that cocoons him up. The rest of T1 are turning up, but Gideon is ignoring them. When becomes lightning, Oner is going to get taken down so incredibly low as Kingen finds an ulti, Chiu finds an arrow. He knocks it, he takes down Bristle and Sejuani. And now T1 looking to try and defend their inner turret, but these are Baroned up minions. These are 6 grubs, and Nongshim are having none of it.
Atlas, by any chance, have you looked at your hands recently?
Yes. Oh man, it's quite moist. I'm not gonna lie, there is game all over these hands, Chronicler.
Well, it doesn't have to be wet. It could just be game.
It is though. It's really warm in here.
As Nongshim, the gold lead remains within touching distance. That is important to note. And T1, I do think, still have some scaling elements to look forward to, particularly with that rise. But Faker not been able to have the impact on the rise that he did on the Talia. Doran not doing so hot. Smashing Keria not doing so hot. This is kind of feeling like a rehash of what happened against Hanwha Life, where Oner was the only one that looked okay, and then eventually even he went down.
Oh god, Faker taking so much damage here. That's 3 damage items here for Calyx as he realm warps his way out. The fake smash moves in, which terrified me, I'm not gonna lie. Thankfully there is the Nico hue on the champion.
The Baron perfectly ends up setting up for the Chemtech Soul.
Yeah.
Nongshim might have actually done it this time around, Atlas.
Well, you say that, and you also often say that curses aren't real, but I want you to be a little bit more careful if you could, because we want to get as much series out of this one as we possibly can. Control ward, making sure that Nongshim are unseen as they do spot Gideon moving on in there. We'll be able to clear out this ward here. As, yeah, T1, I mean, yeah, they're looking to try and get some control here of the top side, but that will not help them get a dragon. It's going to be up in 25 seconds time. Nongshim now able to move on down there. There's a Rift Scuttler coming up at the same time. Kingen is dealing with that minion wave as this one being taken care of by Jiu, and they always have hawk shots and things like this to throw around to make sure they can get something done. As Calyx stepping real far forward, but that was a fake carrier, so not going to need to worry about that too much. And T1, they know that they need to fight for this one. In goes Gideon, just deciding to start off the fight. I don't know about that one, as the ulti does come on through, and he does stay alive. But he's going down relatively low. Kingen on a flank angle finds an R ulti once again. He's been so good with these. I think mainly because he likes playing Gnar, and so he's pretty good at it in general. Doran has a Gnar in perfect position though as Calyx gets engaged on. He just goes into his Zhonya's though. That's going to buy a lot of time here as they take the Soul, and Chemtech Soul is going to help them so much. Look at these health bars already prepared as the Pop Blossom does nothing, but the Gnar does everything from King, and Bullet Time is just going to get immuned by the 2 members of Nongshim, and the Realm Warp does work, but it just tries to buy time. It just tries to get them out of there, and T1 is still going to die. And we are then going to go to 3 games. Here we are, Nongshim. They find the angle here in game 2.
Nongshim got close in game 1, but it wasn't quite enough. The Baron ended up being their downfall. That start of the fight with Gideon getting chunked, I was worried, but I needn't be, as Nongshim knocking down the Nexus.
Amazing stuff.